Mm.
Have you been thinking about getting into Forex trading? Forex trading opens up a world of opportunity for those who know how to do it properly. You can experience financial freedom and reap tremendous rewards for your trading skills. Unfortunately, many programs make big promises and throw students into the trading market without the proper knowledge and expertise to succeed. Fortunately, there is a solution. Great White FX Academy is the best place to start your Forex trading journey with the tools, resources, and education necessary to help you thrive in the market. Great White FX is an online Forex training platform that provides technical training that will help you succeed. It is of the utmost importance to have a proper qualitative education to participate in Forex trading, and that is exactly what Great White FX focuses on. You can reach us on Facebook at Great White FX and Forex Educational Academy, on Instagram at Great White FX, on Twitter at Great White FX, or call us at 234-803-930-61888.
Hello, good evening all. You're welcome to this week's market outlook and trade plan with Great White FX. So thank you all for coming. As you can see, these are my social media handles. Registration for the January 6 weeks master class, Forex master class with Great White FX. Registration is currently ongoing for the month of January because I still have a class ongoing now, and the class will be ending first week of January. So registration for those that would want to attend is currently ongoing. Those that pay within the month of December, they get a discount. If you wish to reach across to me to find out more about it, these are my social media handles. These are my social media handles. Preferably, you could send me a message on Telegram at Great White FX, or you give me a shout out via a phone call. So I thank you all once again for coming. So without wasting much of your time, let's get down to business and see what the week has for us. So as always, we will start off with our fundamental calendar. Start off with our fundamental calendar. So Monday being the 16th. We have high impact news on the euro from 9:15. That's French flash sales. Then we have 9:30 German flash manufacturing PMI. Then by 10:30 we have the British pound flash manufacturing PMI. Then by 3:45 we have flash manufacturing PMI. Seems everybody has their manufacturing PMI coming up on Monday. Then by 5 p.m. we're going to have bank stress test results. You need to be aware of this. I've seen what this can do sometimes, when especially it is not in favor of that currency pair. So you need to be aware of these times. That's 9:15, 9:30, 10:30, 3:45, and 5 p.m. West African time. So that being said, let's get down to business. So as always, the first pair we're going to start with is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, let me pull up my dollar index chart. Dollar index chart. Because the chart is already being mapped out, but I prefer to go through it serially. So looking at the dollar index, this is to my extreme right is the weekly, the middle section is the daily, and this end is the 4-hour. So looking at this setup, you could see that the dollar index bounced off this trend line. This is a weekly trend line. And as you can see, price did not close above it on the weekly time frame. If you come into the daily time frame, what you see on the daily time frame is a bullish engulfing candle closing back into that trend line, which might mean that this might be a false break. Most likely it might be a false break. But if you look on the weekly chart, no, it's not clearly on the weekly. Not clearly on the weekly. If you look at this chart on the daily, there seems to be structure coming in around here. And as you can see, that is where price definitely ran into and bounced back up. So now let's go into the dollar index. Let's look at the dollar index from a 4-hour time frame. So looking at this chart now, looking at this chart from the 4-hour time frame, there is a possibility that price may drop. There is a possibility that price may drop a bit into this zone. And if this zone holds, we might see the dollar index challenge this trend line. Because looking at this from the higher time frame, looking at this chart from the higher time frame, you can clearly see that this trend line break was formed. And that momentum might move into the coming week. So that is what we need to be aware of. There is the possibility that we may see a bullish dollar coming into this current week. So that being said, the next pair we're going to look at is gold. So let's look at gold the same way. So looking at gold across this same setup, what is somehow evident from the weekly is that we seem to have a sort of base in here. This is what you call a bearish anchor candle on the weekly. There is no continuation. As you can see, price has not been able to close below the low of this candle here. Price has not been able to close below this candle here. That's 1459.41. Price has not been able to close below it on the weekly. And if you notice, on the daily, we could say it kind of has a bullish tone. As a candle close on Fridays has a bullish undertone because it has the long lower wick and a bullish body. And if you look at the close for last week also, it seems to have, this could pass for a bullish engulfing. Yes, this could pass for a bullish engulfing because it covered the body of this candle, the body of this candle, and the body of this candle. So that being said, how would you treat this pair? So now we go down to our dollar, to the gold pair on our intraday basis. So basically, what you're waiting for this pair is, as you can see, there's a falling trend line, and there seems to be a sort of a rising channel. So if price rises to 1483.44 and gets rejected, if it rises here and gets rejected, we might see a bit of a correction. Then price maybe either to this area, or price might even extend lower to this area. Then if this lower level holds, then we might be looking at price moving back up. So you might see a bit of a pullback and then a continuation. So your best bet to be, if price comes down around this 1459.44, 1459.41, or if it comes down to this lower channel here. If it comes down to this lower channel, then you might be looking at price bouncing from here. If it bounces, then you might take a long position up. Because if you look at this structure, it has been tested the first time, it held, tested the second time. So there's a possibility that it might break on the third touch. So the next pair we're going to look at is the USD CHF. So looking at the USD CHF, so looking at the USD CHF, My internet connection seems a bit slow. So looking at seems to be having a little bit. Okay, so let's see. Looking at this USDCHF, if you look at it from the weekly, you will notice that there seems to be a bearish anchor candle here. And if you notice, that bearish anchor candle, it has its open around somewhere here. And on the weekly, pricing close below it. If we look at price on the daily, there's a lot of consolidation here, as you can see. You can see there's a lot of consolidation. So this might be a false break. I can't say. It might be a false break. Let's look at it from the daily point of view. We have what seems to be like support structure here. You can see that's what held price. That's what seems to have held price somewhere here. So since price didn't go below this, there's a possibility it might go back up. So now, if price is going to go back up, how are we going to trade this pair? So let's look at this. The best bet on this pair is to wait for a retest of this zone. Mind you, there's a trend line here. I didn't draw the trend line on those higher time frame. Okay, this is a smaller time frame trend line. This is a 4-hour. So if this whoosh, so if this area here, that's at 89, 9809, if it should hold upon retest, then there is a possibility that the USD CHF may be going back up, because as you can see, it's at a support structure. It's definitely at the support structure. So the next pair we're going to look at is the Euro USD. So looking at the Euro USD, if you look at the Euro USD from the weekly, there seems to be kind of what I say. Let's look at this. If you look at it on the weekly, these candles here, this will be easier to see on a line chart. You see, it's like a double top here. So we'll go back to our candles. And if you notice what the price was on Friday, cleared the highs and then dropped back down. So this looks more like an evidence of stop hunt. So if we look at the Euro USD on the daily, it has this what you call a shooting star formation. So how do you trade this coming into next week? It's very simple. Go down to our 4-hour chart. For now, it's sitting above a kind of a structure. This is a 1-hour structure. For those of you that are my students, you'll understand this structure clearly. So as long as this area holds, there is a potential that you might see a correction on this pin bar. You might see a bit of a correction. Maybe you use your fib. So if we use our fib, you could use your fib. That's from the high of Friday, the high of Friday here to the low of Friday, and then you wait for price to pull back maybe towards the 38.2 or between 61.8 and 50. And if you notice, the 61.8 lines up with this resistance at 1.1170. So that comes in here. So there is a possibility that if you should see a pullback into this area and it gives you bearish evidence, then you should be looking for a move back down to this area. If this area holds, if it fails, then much lower. As you can see, there's already been what looks like a stop hunt on the Euro USD on the daily time frame. I wouldn't say only the daily, on the weekly, because this prior, and this is October 14th. This October 14th high cluster. You know, they've been clustering there. The price came in, cleared everybody, and went back down. So if we look at this, so this is the situation we have there. So the next pair we're going to look at is the Euro GBP. Well, this pair was not very friendly to a lot of people last week. There was one thing about this pair was that I didn't get involved with it that much. Although I did trade it, but I ran away very quickly. So now let's look at this pair. Let's start from the monthly. Let's start from the monthly. If you look at this area here, there seems to be what looks like a major swing low here. A major swing low here. And this low here is 2017 low. This 2017 low is coming in at 83.13. It's coming in at 83.13. And if you notice, this week took out any position down here. So now, and if you look at this Euro pound, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 months of continuous downtrend. And where has it come to? The bottom of where it started this rally from. So now the story is this. If this is a stop hunt, you might see a bit of a pullback and then a move higher. If this is a stop hunt, you might see a bit of a pullback and then a move higher. So how do you trade this pair? You go to your intraday chart. You go to your intraday chart. When you go to your intraday chart, you wait for a pullback because I've already marked out the 2017 low. It's coming in at 83.13. I expect there might be a retest of this zone. And if this zone holds as support, then you might see price start moving back higher. You might start seeing price moving back higher. Then its first area of obstacle is going to be at 83.93, this area. The second area comes in at 84.11. So these are areas on this pair. So first, it may pull back. You need to wait for the bullish evidence. If it doesn't give you the bullish evidence, if it takes out this low, then we might see price move down lower. So that being said, the next pair we're going to look at is the GBP USD. So looking at the GBP USD, this pair made some people last week, and it also wrecked some people last week. So let's look at the chart without all this. So if we look at this chart, let's see, we seem to have, yes, there are several highs at this area, but the most prominent is this one here. And if you notice on Friday, price took out this high, all the highs here, and this high. If you notice, price took out all those highs. Let me see, no significant high there. Okay, no significant high here. That's what I mean by significant high, maybe a yearly high or something like that. So it took out all these highs. So now the question is, how are you going to trade this pair? So we go down to our chart. It has made a high here. There is a possibility you might see it either pull down here, or there is a temporary low here. Let's assume this place is going to be a temporary low. You might see price pull back into this area. If it pulls back into this area and gets rejected, then you might see price drop lower. But if it pulls back into here and you get a close, you get to close back above 35.15. You get to close back above 35.15, then be rest assured that this pair might be moving back to the top side. Rest assured this pair might be moving back to the top side. So this is what you'll be waiting for. It might move back up. Doesn't mean you can't take a long position. You can, but just know that this should be your target area. If it does start moving back up, you should be aware that that is your target area. And we have the prior high for the year that comes in at this level. That is our 13382. So that's just the position on this pair. So the next pair we're going to look at is GBP-CHF. Same thing too with the GBP-USD. All the GBP pairs move very high on. But looking at this GBP-CHF, that's very, very interesting. It has, although this is a very, very fast move, but on the daily, it's not looking so fast. But on the monthly, it's looking like as if it went very fast. For those of you who are my students, you will understand what this means. It's deep into this area now. So now, this pair is still bullish. Doesn't mean it's not bullish. It's still bullish. So how are you going to trade it? So we go down to our intraday chart. There is a possibility it's going to go back to test this high. Doesn't mean you can't take a long position. You can, because it's still bullish. But if you're taking it, you should know where your possible areas of exit are. So this is your first target, second target, and your third target up here. So should price start moving back up and gets rejected from here and gives you a bearish evidence, then you might take a short position back down to here. But if you're taking the short position, be well aware that it is only a corrective move. The overall bias on this pair for now is still looking very, very bullish. The overall pair bias on this pair is still looking very, very bullish. The only time the bullish bias is going to change is when you have a close back inside this level here. As this high here. This high here. When you have a close back below 28.94. Why 28.94? If you look at this level, this single candle was the range candle that held price until price broke out above. So it held price for a period in time. So this candle, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, for almost a month, a single candle. So if you get close back on the daily, back inside here, then you might see price come back to this level. And once this low here is broken, then the rest assured price is going back down. But for now, as long as price stays above this upper zone, it still might go to the top side. So next pair we're going to look at is the USD JPY. So looking at the USD JPY, let's look at it from several views. Well, looking at the USD JPY, can't say there's much here. All I know is that it's rejected from this zone on Friday. And that zone has a falling resistance trend line cutting across it. So now the question is, what do we expect within this week? What we might be expecting this week is price may try to rally back to retest this area. Price may try to rally back in here. If it gets rejected, then it's going to keep moving to the downside. That's just it. But as you can see, on Friday, this is bearish evidence. But we need price to run back into this area. If it gets rejected, then first target, second target. So that's just it for this pair. So the next pair we're going to look at is the Euro Yen. So looking at the Euro Yen, Euro Yen closed on Friday with a long upper wick, a very, very long upper wick, a very, very long upper wick. And if we look at this, where did he get up to? Yes, there seems to be something here. So that's where he ran into and dropped. So now, question is, how do you treat this on your intraday? So it's pretty simple. Whenever there's a long upper wick like this, from experience, price most times will try to correct back into. So you can just basically use your fib. You can just pick your fib from the high to the low, and then watch what price will do. You watch for the pullback. As from you pick, that's Friday's high. Pick Friday's high to Friday's low, something like that. Then you wait for the correction. But first, before you take that, you need to see bullish evidence here pointing to a move back up. So, and if it gets rejected from any of these zones, then you might take a short position back down. That's if it gives you bearish evidence. So the next pair we're going to look at is the British pound yen. So a pound yen too gave a long wick. Let's look at it from several points of view. Gave a long upper wick, but it's still bullish. But it didn't close near his highs. And there's a falling trend line. Coming from this area. The price is close to it. And I think I have structure here. At this area. So how do you treat this? There is a possibility price might pull back up. It's going to pull back up to test this area. If you get that evidence, you might take a long position because it is still bullish. It hasn't reversed it. It's still very bullish. So they might retest this high, and if they get rejected, then they might start coming back down. But it hasn't yet given any bullish evidence here, so we'll just wait and see. So the next pair we're going to look at is the AUD-USD. So looking at the AUD-USD, the AUD-USD also closed bearish on Friday. It closed pretty bearish on Friday. And if you notice, it seems it went for a stop point. I can't see. I might be wrong. But if you look at these two places, if you look at these two candles, we could see they're almost equal heights. Let me see. The high of this candle is 69.29, and the high of this candle is 69.28. Just they're almost equal high. But what did the candle of is still a monthly chart? But if you notice, price on the monthly view went up and cleared everybody. So now let's look at this from a weekly. Let's look at this from a weekly point of view. We look at it from a weekly point of view. This looks like an apex. First leg, rally, drop. So it came to this area. Do you see it? And spiked above it and dropped. And that gave a bearish engulfing on the daily. So the deal on this pair is that there's a potential this pair may continue to the downside, but you need to be careful. I think I saw something here. On Thursday, it's going to have employment change coming in on Thursday. It's going to have employment change coming in on Thursday. So how are you going to trade this? It's very simple. It's almost the same thing. You take a dip from the high to the low, and then you wait for a pullback. That's just what you need to do. You take a fib from the high to the low, because there's a possibility it's going to correct. And when it corrects and gives you bearish evidence, you take the move back down. Because if you look at it, there is, let me zoom out a bit. You see this channel, price dropped into it. So there's a possibility this might be a break and retest to continue higher. So that's what we'll wait and see within the week. So the next pair we're going to look at is Euro AUD. The Euro AUD has not been so clear of late. The pair has not been so clear of late. It's been ranging seriously. But see, Friday's candle closed as a doji. Closed as a doji. So it's an indecision candle. So the question now is, what will they do this week? I can't see. But that's last week's candle closed as a doji. Friday closed as a bullish piercing pattern. And see, Friday's candle closed as a bullish piercing pattern. On this area, on the daily, this is a daily, we could say there's some cluster lows here. This might be a false break. But it's going to be a false break only if you get a retest of 6147. That's if price does something like this, comes back down here, gets rejected, then move back higher. Because as you can see, the Friday candle closed as a bullish piercing pattern. Although it has a long upper wick, but it shows that there's a possibility that it might continue higher this week. So that's just what we need to look out for. How do we trade that? So basically, I didn't have this marked out that much because it's not looking so clean to me. So if it pulls back into any of these areas and gives you bullish evidence, then you might take a long position on it because it's not looking so clean. There's no basic trend on it. It's ranging. So the last pair we're going to look at is the USD CAD. So looking at the USD CAD, let's get the USD CAD from the daily point of view. Well, the USD CAD, we could say, got as low as the prior week's low. As you can see, this is a daily close. We say this is bearish, but it didn't take out the prior week's low before turning. And I might say I have structure here. So now there is a possibility that price may come down to 31.41. If 31.41 holds upon retest, then you may see something like this. It may dip, price may go slightly deep into it. Price may go slightly deep into it. But once you get the close back above it, rest assured price is moving to the top side. So that is it for today's review. Thank you all for taking your time to attend. Like I said, the videos will be posted on YouTube. Your likes on the videos and your comments will be deeply appreciated. And also, if you can follow and turn on the bell icon to get notifications. So the YouTube channel is Plan Your Trade, Trade Your Plan. If you wish to reach across to me, these are my social media handles. Don't forget the registration is currently ongoing for the 6 weeks masterclass with Great White FX. So if you have questions or how to enroll, you can either reach across to me on Telegram or give me a call on this number. So once again, I thank you all for coming. I wish you all a blessed night and a blessed and beautiful trading week ahead. So thank you all for coming.